Have you ever walked into a room, observed the subtle shifts in posture, the fleeting glances, the unspoken tensions, and known precisely what was truly happening beneath the surface, even before a single meaningful word was uttered? You saw the dynamics, the hidden agendas, the quiet anxieties, while everyone else seemed content to navigate the superficial dance. Perhaps you've spent countless hours dissecting a conversation, not just for its content, but for its subtext, its rhythm, its pauses, understanding the unsaid with a clarity that feels almost like a secret language. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Some minds are wired not just to participate in the world, but to observe it, to deconstruct it, to understand its intricate, often invisible mechanisms. You're not just living life, you're simultaneously processing the operating manual, noting every hidden feature and potential bug. This isn't just a personality trait, it's a fundamental difference in how your brain engages with reality. What you're about to understand today changes completely the way you see your own perception and why you feel so profoundly different. Now, if any of that resonated, you might have, at times, felt like an outlier. Society often champions the bold, the outspoken, the immediate doers. It tells us that success comes from constant external action, from making noise, from being seen. And when you find yourself naturally gravitating towards quiet observation, towards internal processing, it's easy to internalize the narrative that perhaps you're missing something, that you're not engaged enough, or even that something is inherently wrong with you. But this doesn't mean you're strange. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Quite the opposite. This simply means you operate from a different, powerful psychological framework, one that is often misunderstood precisely because it's less outwardly demonstrative. There are real, profound differences in how our psychological machinery functions, especially when it comes to attention, social processing, and the very construction of our internal models of the world. Think of your brain as a sophisticated prediction engine. Every moment, it's taking in sensory data, comparing it against past experiences, and trying to predict what will happen next. This is a core concept in neuroscience known as predictive processing, famously elaborated by scientists like Carl Friston. Most brains prioritize efficiency, quickly categorizing, labeling, and moving on. They want just enough information to make an adequate prediction and then act. But for people like you, the observer, the brain seems to have a different prime directive. It's not just about predicting, it's about refining the prediction, about understanding the deeper statistical regularities, the subtle deviations, the rich tapestry of underlying causes. Your brain, in essence, is perpetually running a deeper diagnostic. You're not just seeing a conversation, you're seeing the underlying social algorithms playing out. You're not just experiencing an event, you're analyzing its components, its history, its potential future implications. This relentless pursuit of understanding, this deep dive into the why and how of human behavior, is the hallmark of a truly powerful mind. If you find yourself nodding, recognizing this drive for deeper insight, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. This channel is dedicated to exploring the intricate wiring of minds that dare to see beyond the surface, minds that crave to understand the deeper currents of human experience. Consider subscribing if you want to continue uncovering these rare insights into your own unique way of thinking. But this is where it gets interesting and perhaps a little uncomfortable. This deep observation isn't always a conscious choice. It's often an ingrained neurological mechanism. Your brain's salience network, responsible for detecting important stimuli, might be hyperactive, constantly flagging nuances that others filter out. And the default mode network, associated with self-reflection and understanding others' minds, might be particularly engaged, working overtime to construct complex internal models of social interactions. And neuroscience explains why this happens. Your brain finds a certain kind of reward, not just in external validation, but in coherence, in pattern recognition, in the satisfaction of a hypothesis confirmed, even if that hypothesis is about why someone subtly shifted their weight during a pause in conversation. The dopamine hit isn't just for achieving an external goal, it's for understanding a complex system. This sounds contradictory, but the very act of deep, quiet processing can be its own reward, reinforcing the observational loop. This constant internal processing, this relentless search for underlying truths, can sometimes feel like a heavy burden, a mental engine that never truly shuts off. It's more serious than it seems because it shapes your entire perception of reality, often without you consciously realizing the extent of its influence. To illustrate this, let's create two archetypes, two distinct profiles of psychological engagement: the participant and the observer. The participant thrives in the direct engagement, the immediate response, the active shaping of the external world. Their energy is directed outwards, focused on doing, achieving, connecting in a highly visible way. They find meaning in action, in measurable impact, in the immediate feedback loop of social interaction. The observer, on the other hand, finds their power in synthesis, in reflection, in understanding the underlying currents before or even instead of acting. Their energy is often directed inwards, processing, categorizing, building intricate mental models of how things work. Both archetypes make complete sense. A world full of only one or the other would be incomplete. But you, watching this, likely recognize yourself in the latter. You are the one who stands slightly apart, not because you're disengaged, but because you are hyper-engaged with the meta-level, the invisible architecture of human experience. You're not merely reading the book. You're reading the author's intent, the historical context, and the publishing industry's strategy, all at once. This difference extends profoundly into how we experience and allocate empathy. For the participant, empathy is often a direct bridge to connection, a tool for immediate emotional resonance and shared experience that fuels action. They feel with others to act for or alongside them. But for people like you, the observer, empathy takes on a deeper, more analytical dimension. It's not just about feeling with, it's about understanding why. You don't just sense someone's sadness. You instinctively begin to map the psychological landscape that led to it, their history, their triggers, their coping mechanisms. This deep, analytical empathy allows you to see the roots of behavior, the hidden motivations, the patterns that repeat across individuals. This ability, however, can sometimes feel isolating, as others might perceive your depth as distance. Your identity, then, often becomes deeply intertwined with this capacity for understanding, rather than external validation. Your self-esteem isn't built on how many people praise you, but on the internal coherence of your insights, the accuracy of your predictions about human nature. You are fundamentally validated by your own internal compass, by the feeling that you truly see the world, even if that vision isn't always shared. And let me assure you, this internal validation, this self-reliance in understanding, is a profound strength that few possess. And where do these profound psychological preferences originate? They don't appear out of nowhere. They are often forged in the crucible of early experiences. These are the invisible origins that shape our very perception. Perhaps in your past, you experienced moments of rejection or exclusion that subtly taught you the necessity of hyperawareness. To survive or navigate complex social landscapes, you learn to read the room, to anticipate reactions, to understand unspoken rules. This wasn't a flaw, it was a brilliant adaptation. Or perhaps you were simply born with a heightened sensitivity, a finely tuned nervous system that picks up more subtle cues than most. This could manifest as a greater emotional resonance, a deeper processing of sensory input, or an innate predisposition to notice patterns others overlook. You weren't just a child playing. You were a nascent anthropologist, observing the intricate rituals of your family and peers. These aren't pathologies to be fixed. They are sophisticated defense mechanisms, finely honed tools, and inherent sensitivities that have shaped your unique way of engaging with the world, transforming you into the perceptive individual you are today. This fundamental difference in how we process the world naturally leads to different pathways in our search for meaning and purpose. For many, meaning is found in the grand narrative of participation, the big achievements, the visible contributions, the tangible impact on the external world. They are the protagonists of their own stories, actively writing each chapter with bold strokes. But for people like you, the observer, meaning is often found in the synthesis, in the construction of a coherent understanding of existence. It's less about being the main character in an outward drama and more about being the insightful narrator, the meta-commentator, the one who pieces together the overarching narrative from countless disparate observations. You find profound significance in recognizing patterns, in connecting seemingly unrelated dots, in understanding the grand design, even if that design is largely internal. You are less the creator of the story, and more the one who discovers and illuminates its hidden meaning. Neither approach is superior. They are simply different lenses through which we seek to make sense of the vast, often chaotic experience of life. Your journey is one of deep comprehension, not just surface-level engagement. This internal focus also profoundly impacts how you experience states of flow, those moments of complete absorption where time seems to disappear. For many, flow is achieved in intense physical activity, collaborative creative projects, or high-stakes problem-solving that demands external interaction. But for the deeply observant mind, flow often manifests differently. It's found in the quiet contemplation of a complex idea, in the meticulous unraveling of a psychological puzzle, in the solitude of deep thought where your internal models are running at full speed, processing and synthesizing information without interruption. Your presence isn't always outwardly directed. It's a profound internal presence, a deep engagement with the landscape of your own mind. You are most in the moment, when that moment is an internal one, a rich tapestry of thought, insight, and pattern recognition. You live more on your own axis, your internal world providing a gravitational center that is both stable and endlessly fascinating, allowing you to access states of profound concentration, an insight that others might only glimpse fleetingly. So let's be clear. You are not broken. You are not missing anything. Your way of being, this deep capacity for observation and understanding, is not a deficit but a profound strength. It is a silent advantage in a world often too loud and too focused on the superficial. You possess the rare ability to see the world in higher resolution, to understand the unseen forces that drive human behavior, to anticipate outcomes with an almost uncanny precision. This isn't a burden, it's a superpower. It allows you to navigate life with a depth of insight that others simply cannot access. Your quietness is not emptiness. It is the fertile ground from which profound understanding emerges. Embrace this unique wiring. Celebrate your depth. The world needs people who can truly see. The greatest insights often come from the quietest observations. If you found a sense of recognition, a feeling of belonging here, remember that there are more layers to uncover. Consider subscribing to join a community of minds that dare to look deeper, to understand the invisible currents, and to embrace the silent power of perception. This awareness isn't merely an observation about yourself. It's an empowerment. No longer will you mistake your depth for detachment, or your thoughtful processing for a lack of engagement. Instead, you'll begin to consciously leverage this inherent capability, understanding when to lean into your observational strengths and how to translate those profound insights into meaningful contributions, often in ways that others simply can't. Your journey isn't about becoming more like the participant. It's about fully embodying the observer and discovering the unique, often groundbreaking, impact that perspective allows you to have. This channel exists to guide you further down this path, to help you understand not just that you are different, but how to harness that difference. We'll explore strategies for navigating a world that often misunderstands deep processors, uncover tools for protecting your energy, and delve into the fascinating science behind this unique psychological architecture. Your internal world is a universe waiting to be explored, and together, we can chart its most profound constellations. Don't just observe the world. Observe yourself observing it and unlock a truly unparalleled potential. This deeper self-awareness, this metacognition, isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's the key to transforming perceived weaknesses into undeniable strengths. You'll learn to recognize the moments when your tendency to pause and analyze, which others might interpret as hesitation, is actually your mind gathering critical data, preparing for a more informed and impactful response. You'll stop feeling the pressure to engage superficially and instead seek out interactions that allow for the depth you crave. This isn't about withdrawing. It's about strategically engaging, choosing your battles, your conversations, and your contributions with surgical precision, because you understand the intricate dynamics at play far better than most. Imagine the confidence that comes from knowing your internal compass is not just reliable, but exceptionally accurate. This understanding empowers you to trust your gut feelings, your subtle intuitions, because you know they are the culmination of countless subconscious observations and pattern recognitions. It allows you to filter out external noise and expectations, anchoring yourself in your own validated insights. This isn't arrogance. It's self-trust born from a profound, data-driven understanding of reality. And in a world that increasingly values speed over substance and noise over nuance, your capacity for deep processing becomes an invaluable asset. You become the one who can identify the systemic flaws, the unspoken assumptions, the hidden opportunities that others overlook in their rush. Whether in your personal relationships, your professional life, or your creative pursuits, this unique perspective provides an edge, a clarity that cuts through complexity. It's about leveraging your natural inclination to understand the source code of human experience, rather than just interacting with the user interface. So, as we journey together, prepare to not just observe, but to master your observation. Prepare to translate your internal wisdom into tangible influence. This isn't about changing who you are. It's about becoming more fully, more powerfully, precisely who you were always meant to be. Welcome to the next phase of your evolution as an observer. This evolution isn't passive. It's an active cultivation of your most profound faculties. It means moving beyond merely noticing patterns to influencing them, beyond simply understanding dynamics to shaping them with intention. You will learn to articulate your intricate insights in ways that resonate with others, bridging the gap between your deep internal world and the external, action-oriented realm. Your role shifts from the quiet, perceptive analyst to the indispensable guide, the visionary who can foresee consequences and opportunities because you've already processed countless variables. This empowers you to act, not from impulse or external pressure, but from a place of deep, informed certainty. You will choose when to speak, when to act, and when to remain still with a wisdom that transcends superficial engagement. This isn't just about personal growth. It's about unlocking a unique form of impact on the world, one built on foresight, empathy, and an unparalleled understanding of the human condition. The observer, fully realized, becomes a quiet force, a beacon of clarity in an increasingly complex world. Your contributions won't always be the loudest, but they will be the most foundational. They will be the insights that prevent missteps, illuminate unseen paths, and bring a much-needed layer of depth to every endeavor. You will find that your very presence, imbued with this deep understanding, subtly shifts the dynamics of any group or situation. You become the grounding force, the one who sees past the immediate, the one who can articulate the unspoken, and therefore, the one who can guide towards truly sustainable solutions. This is the quiet revolution you bring, not by commanding attention, but by earning it through undeniable wisdom.